Are we convincing you yet that your work, your only work, is to line up with what you think you want? So why don't you do that? Why doesn't everyone? Why is that not easy for you to hear? We'll tell you. It's because the questions we ask are always the easiest to answer. We know the answer before we ask the question. But then we know the answer before you ask the question too. So. The reason that more don't know that is because you're not sure that you have the right or the wisdom to choose. You think somebody else has made the list and that you've got to conform to the list. And what you didn't factor in is they made that list about what you should do so that they'd feel better. And it's time for you to make your list about what you should do so that you can feel better. You are an extension of that which is source. Some call it God, some call it energy, some call it consciousness. It does not matter what you call it. You will never be apart from it. It will always flow to you and through you. But you have powerful control about how much of it you let in any moment in time and how much of it you deprive yourself of. And when you let it in, you thrive. When you let it in, you're clear-minded, you're sure-footed, you feel good, life is wonderful, you breathe deeply, everything feels good. Everywhere you go, you find things that are interesting, fascinating, provocative, good feeling. And when you are not allowing your connection to the stream, you feel defensive, you feel afraid, you feel unsure, you feel unworthy, you feel anger, you feel depressed, you feel overwhelmed, you feel frustrated. There's a myriad of emotions all up and down this emotional scale. This glorious guidance system within you, letting you know in every moment how well connected to your link spot in the sky you are. It is our powerful desire that when you leave this gathering today, you never again question your value or your worthiness, and that you let your questioning be about, what do I prefer, this or this? Would I rather love this person or hate this person? Let's see, which feels best to me? Esther came to an astonishing and startling revelation about herself not long ago, when she found herself on the opposite end of a decision. She thought one way and Jerry thought another way about something not very important. It was the methodology for hooking up the tow car to the monster bus. And Esther always yields to Jerry because she would much rather that he turns out to be wrong than she does. And as she was walking the length of the rig, about 67 feet, as she was walking to get back into the driver's seat of the monster bus, to pull it forward, to make sure that everything had locked in just right, she heard herself think and laughed and nearly fell over as she got into the coach as she heard her own thought. She thought, I hope it doesn't go well. And then she thought, Abraham, I'm in great trouble here because I would rather be right than have things go well. And that is the reason that so many of you do not trust your own decision. Somebody's convinced you that it's important that you make the right decision. And so you want to take a consensus. What does everybody think? Because, you wouldn't want to make the wrong decision because somehow you've decided that you must be going to be judged on how many times you were right or how many times your partner was wrong. And we want you to understand that when you decide that you're going to look for the truth so that you can line up with the truth, you're going to have a hard time of figuring it out, because anything that anybody focuses on for very long, they activate in their vibration and they make it a reality which you call a factual truth. So when you see this stuff that you do not want, and you say, well, I cannot ignore it because it's true, what you're saying is someone else, for whatever unknown reason, gave their attention to it long enough that it became active in their vibration, long enough that it became a dominant vibration within them, that it manifested in their experience and became a fact or evidence, and because they did that unwanted thing to themselves, I should do it too. And we say, when you finally get it, that nothing is more important than that you feel good, and you will feel much better when you are not trying to make yourself right and somebody else wrong, but you are looking for the well-being of all. In other words, you're looking for the well-being, you're looking for the connection. Oh, life becomes so simple. Of course, Esther would much rather love Jerry than be mad at him, and she mostly does. And she would much rather honor him than disrespect him, and she mostly does. But when push comes to shove, if it's her righteousness above his, she wants to choose hers. And we want to say to you, that contest doesn't exist. You are not in competition for the resources of well-being. The resources are there for all of you, you see. And when you finally get it, that there is no competition, then maybe you'll let go of your grip on needing to be right. And when you're willing to let go of your grip of needing to be right, and you care more about connecting to source energy, now you are the uplifter that you came forth to be. Now life is good for you, you see. We've enjoyed this interaction immensely. You have some things you want to talk about? This will be a wonderful unfolding. Don't worry if we don't call on you right away or ever. We are aware of what you are wanting to know, and it is our promise that we will answer you more than once. Begin third row, and then here, yes. Sometimes someone else will ask your question, and you will hear the answer to your question even better if they are in the hot seat. Sometimes your question will be born right here. And when that happens, a rocket of desire will explode from you. And if you're in a place of non-resistance, we'll see